Good morning, good morning, good morning. How are we all today? Let me just tag some people to join me. If you're watching, let me know. Let me know how you are this morning. I'd love to know. Let me know. So, today I thought, if I can get this right, I thought I would pop on to do an impromptu video on something that has been coming up for a lot of the ladies I've been speaking to and my clients over the last couple of weeks. Anger. Let's talk about anger. And you know, it's something that a lot of the mums that I've been speaking to have been really struggling with. They don't know what to do with their child's anger. They're ready to tear their hair out. Hi, if you're watching, let me know, comment, let me know you're here and how you are. So I wanted to do this live to just really kind of keep it real with you all about anger, why you feel you can't manage it, and what you can do to support yourself and your child in those times of feeling like, they're angry, what do I do? So, when your child is having a moment of showing emotion, okay, and that emotion is essentially anger. Number one, I want to say that anger is as normal as an emotion as any other of the emotions, right? So it's not any worse or any better than happiness, sadness, overwhelm. It's an emotion, so we don't want to place judgment on it in the first place. So we're going to remove all judgment. They're having a moment, they're showing emotion, and that emotion just happens to be anger. What a lot of mums find very difficult in that moment is they want to resolve it. They want to solve it. They want to make it better. They want to step into superhero mode. A lot of the time we may want to say, no, shut that down. Shut it right down. Don't want to see it. Don't want to hear it. No. And because they're being triggered, okay? And we'll talk about triggers in a moment. But the thing is, when a child is having a moment of expression, where they are feeling safe enough with you to be angry, because the truth is, some kids, they will not feel safe enough to be angry around other people, like other members of the family or school or just other people around them. So if they're choosing to have that moment with you, know that that moment is happening because your child feels safe enough to have that moment, okay? So that's a positive. That's a positive. It means they feel safe enough with you to have that moment because they know intuitively that you are the one that can help them. You are the one that can hold space for them. Okay? You may not feel like that, but they feel it from you intuitively. There's an inner knowing there. So when they're having this moment of anger, one of the worst things that we can do is want to swoop in there and close it down. Because what the child can feel in that moment is, well, you're not hearing me. You're not receiving me. You're not feeling me. You want to get rid of me. They connect their emotions to them. So when you're wanting to close that down, it's like you're closing me down. Okay? They can't comprehend that you're trying to help. They can only feel that you're trying to shut them down. Especially in times where you may want to reprimand them for their anger. Or you stop that now, stop being angry, you know, we've all been there, okay? There's no judgment here. But in those times where you reprimand your child for being angry, we have to think about how is that received by the child. I'm bad. It's not safe to be angry. I've done something terrible. I've upset mum. okay, I won't be angry anymore. Or it could go the other way. It could increase the anger. Okay? Essentially, there's a feeling of, I'm not accepted, I'm not safe, this doesn't feel secure to me, I can't be who I am because I'm not accepted, or it upsets others. That's one of the worst things that we can do with our kids, is make them feel that they're not safe enough to express themselves, or that they're not accepted. Because what can happen then is suppression or disassociation that then gets taken into adulthood. That's where we get people pleasers. That's where we get people with poor boundaries. That's where we get people finding themselves in situations, worst case scenario, where they're being abused because they don't feel it's safe to speak. They don't feel it's safe to express themselves, okay? Not sure what's going on with this. So we want to remember in that time where your child is expressing themselves, I'm losing everything at the minute, where your child is expressing themselves, we want to make them know that, okay, it's safe to express themselves, but we also want to hold space in that moment as well. We don't want to swoop in there with superhero mode and make everything magically better, because half the time they don't need us to. They just need somebody there to hold that safe container for them. So, for example, if my daughter comes home and she has done so in the past, where she is fuming about her teacher, and what happened? I hate Miss blah blah blah, I hate her, she's ugly, she's this, she's that, and she can't even do this properly. You know, a lot of the time as parents we want to step in and go, oh, well, you know, I'm sure that's not true, I'm sure she's not ugly, I'm sure she, you know, I'm sure you don't mean that. But actually what's really beneficial for you and your child in that moment is, for if you do say anything, it's, oh, okay, I'm listening, it's okay, say what you feel, say it, just let it out, okay, just say it. I hate her, she smells, I see how angry you are, keep going. Anything else? She did this, she put my name on the thunderstorm cloud. That sounds like it really annoyed you. Yeah, it did, because I didn't deserve it. You didn't deserve to go on there. Yeah, I hate her. I hear you, you hate her. So it's about holding space, and it's about saying, okay, let them have that moment. Let them have it. Because if we think about it as adults, if we're having a rant, which we all do, and we're going to a friend or a partner and it's like, I hate this person, she did this at work and I can't stand it, and that person is trying to then come in and say, well, actually, is that true? Do you, I don't know, you sure, you know, that's going to anger you more. It's like, hang on a minute, I'm entitled to say what I want to say. Why can't I speak? Just listen to me. That's how your child will feel, but they will feel it on a much deeper level, and they will take it almost as a reflection of themselves and their own self-worth, which we don't want to do. So it's about holding space. It's about saying as little as possible. If you do say anything, it's about saying what you see and what you hear at that time. Okay, again, if you're watching, let me know. And let me know if any of this resonates with you as well. But what do you do if you are triggered by your child's anger? If your child has had a massive explosion, like they're about to internally combust, and you can feel in your stomach like, I don't want to hear this, I don't want to be in this, hey Ash, I don't want to be around them, no, I can't hear this is too loud. What if you are having a trauma response? What if you are being triggered when your child is having that moment? They're showing so much aggression, they might even be kicking the wall, throwing stuff around. I mean, obviously we want to keep them safe, right? So do your best to keep them safe, obviously, right? But what do you do in those moments when you just feel like, I can't handle this, I want to shut this down right now, no, I don't want to be around it? Number one, you recognize that you're being triggered, okay? Something from your past is coming up. There's an old wounding there, all right? And what's happened is this moment with your child has triggered off something in you around anger. Could well be that when you were a child, you were shut down. You weren't allowed to be angry. Let me know if this resonates with you. You weren't allowed to cry. You weren't allowed to speak your truth and how you felt. So your inner child, these old wounds will come up. I don't know how to handle this. He's being so aggressive and so angry. Like, well, of course you don't know how to handle it, because you weren't even allowed to be angry yourself as a child. So how would you learn how to handle it if your parents shut you down? No judgment to them. This is how generational patterns get passed down. Until we learn differently, how do you know how to handle your child? And not only your child's anger, but your anger that's coming up to the surface. Do you know how to hold space for your own? We have to learn these things. So in that moment when your child is having an expression and releasing, and you can feel like you're getting angry, or your anxiety is just going sky high, and you're becoming dysregulated as well, which is even not great, because you need to be that solid container for them for when they're dysregulated. What do you do? What do you do? Well, what you can do, number one, is you can start the regulation process, okay? So if you feel that the trigger is coming up, you just take some very deep breaths in that moment, okay? To just calm your body and your nervous system down. You know, trauma comes up as you know, they can come up as memories, but they usually come up through triggers, seeing other people go through stuff, right? So it comes up as a feeling, all right? So you want to regulate your, oh, the sunlight's come through. You want to regulate your body in that moment, okay? So your child is having their moment, they're having their rant, and they're very angry, and you know, you can take a few deep breaths. Taking deep breaths, taking deep breaths, taking deep breaths. And what do you do if that child is throwing that anger at you? What do you do when they're saying, I hate you, you're a terrible mum, you're this, you're that, you're rubbish, you can't even do this right? You do the same thing. You hold space. You say as little as possible. If you say anything, it's, I hear you. I see how angry you are. And you focus on your breath work in that moment. Now, if your trauma is like sky high, and your anxiety is sky high, and you can feel that the breath work is maybe just not cutting it, then you may need to move your body. You may need to say, okay, I hear you. I need to step out of the room for a few minutes. Just give me a second. I'm just going to be on the other side of that door, and I will return back, and we will do this. Okay? Because a lot of the time our kids will say things to us that hurt. And the reason that it will hurt is because, again, it's activating a wounding that has been laying dormant. But when you're triggered, it's an invitation to heal it and release it, because that's why it's come up, okay? So you're doing your breathing, that maybe hasn't cut it. You then leave the room for a few minutes. You always tell them, I'm just going here and I will be back, okay? Because we don't want them to feel that they're having a moment and you've abandoned them in that moment. We want them to always remember that it's safe for them to express themselves, and that they are still loved throughout, and they are still respected throughout, okay? So you've removed yourself from the room, you then focus on your breathing again. And what I always tell my clients to do is really kind of bring in some mantras and some affirmations to tell yourself in that moment, I'm safe, I'm loved, I'm safe, I'm loved, this is okay, I'm safe, I'm safe. Even though this is happening, I'm still safe, I'm still loved, okay? And you're focusing on your breathing, just to bring you out of a state of reactivity and responsiveness. Sometimes for some people, this is not going to work straight away. This is going to take practice. So I always advise my clients to be doing these things on a regular basis anyway. Monitoring your triggers, monitoring your emotions, raising the emotional intelligence, okay? Focusing on regulating your body as often as you can. because it will make these moments a lot easier. This is why a lot of parents find it hard to manage their child's emotions, because the truth of the matter is their emotions were most probably not met when they were children, and they haven't learned how to meet them. Okay, they just haven't. And that's not a judgment, but that's the honest truth. That was me. That was me. Okay, but when you can place yourself out of the reactivity space and back into an energy of responsiveness, so we go back into the room and go, okay, I'm listening. You let them say what they have to say. Now, obviously, if they're swearing or they're behaving in ways that you feel is like really crossing boundaries, I would always advise to address it at a later time, not in that moment. So it may be that that moment has passed and it's the evening time now and you're just relaxing together or whatever you're doing. You can say, hey, you know, can I talk to you about something? Right? I want you to know that whenever you want to speak or say how you feel, you can come to me and tell me anything. You can get angry, you can scream, you can shout, you can do whatever. But there are some other ways that we can express ourselves, and here are some of the ways that feel better, that feel more respectful for both of us. What we don't want to do is say things like, you really upset me, you really hurt me. When you said that, that really, really made me angry. Because, well, that will just be a message to say they're not safe to say how they feel to you. Okay, so the next time they may want to react or lash out or release their anger, and they won't, they will suppress. That's, you know, we don't want our children suppressing themselves, because that's what leads to problems later on. It leads to depression, it leads to an array of mental health issues where people, you know, they've been conditioned to not feel, they've been conditioned to not speak their truth, so they keep it all in. And not even mental health issues, physical health issues as well. So we want to teach our children from an early age that it's safe to speak, you know, but there are safer and more respectful ways of doing it, but that is not to be done at the time of expression, because it can often invoke more anger. Okay. So yeah, I just wanted to pop on and just give some tips around how to manage your child's anger, why you feel you can't manage it, and how to help yourself to manage it. And again, it always goes back to your emotional wellness as a mum, and that's it. And you know, none of us are ever going to be perfect. You know, parenting is a learning journey, okay? But if you can be doing these things for yourself, if you can be checking in with your own emotional wellness as often as possible, and then implementing aligned action with that, then, you know, when you have these moments with your child, they become easier. You feel safe and secure to be able to offer that safe and secure container when your child is having that moment. Okay? So let me know if you watch this on replay and if you resonate with anything I've said. Let me know if you have any questions. You know where I am. You can just PM me and get in contact, and kind of, you know, let's talk and see if you can help yourself through situations like this. But this one, like I say, it's been a common one that's come up over the last few weeks. So I just wanted to address it and just give some tips and tools to help as well. And just one other thing I wanted to say as well is, if when you know you're being triggered and you can connect to that wounding, so you can say, right, my child is screaming and shouting at me and I am feeling really unsafe and it's making me feel really angry. You'd breathe, you'd maybe move your body, remove yourself for a moment. But if later on it comes to you and you're like, actually, I know where that's from. That was from when my dad screamed and shouted at me and I felt so threatened as a 5-year-old and so scared. Thank you, this really helps with my very angry 8-year-old. Oh, bless. You know, go away and journal on that. Get some additional support for that. Get in contact with me. Let's talk. Because if you've got old stuff playing out, it will continue to play out until you heal it. And I'm telling you now, you can do that. You can heal it, okay? Again, if you want to talk with your child after they've had that expression in that moment and say, hey, you know, be that open and safe container for them. If there's anything bothering you, you know, you can come and always talk to me about it. You know, I will always make space and time for you. You know, if there's anything that's stressing you out, tell me. Even just tell me. Okay, leave that invitation there for them, because often sometimes our kids are angry because they're tired, or because somebody's upsetting them at school, or they're struggling with schoolwork. We don't know, right, until the communication can flow. So for communication to flow, we want to make sure that they feel that we are that safe container for them, and that no matter what they say to us, we're not going to take it personally. We're going to hold our own backs. We're going to deal with our own triggers. It's our stuff, and that they can say and be free to express themselves in a way that feels right for them, and that we can just listen, hold space, and allow that flow of communication. Okay, so I do hope that has helped, and like I say, if you do need any extra support with this, do get in touch. But let's just remember, you know, our children are our mirrors, and it's not necessarily a thing of they are our mirrors in the sense of, well, it could be, but you know, of who we are today. It's often that our children are our mirrors of our childhood and our own wounding, and this is why the whole parenting experience is a beautiful experience to go through, and the most transformative experience for parents, because we think we're here to teach our children, but actually it's a little bit the other way around. Okay, so I will leave it at that. Like I say, if you watch on replay, drop it in the comments, any questions, and I wish you all a wonderful, wonderful day today. Bye-bye.